Anytime.
Going to call the meeting of the Schaumburg Village Board to order for Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. I want to mention to please silence any cell phones, electronic devices for the evening, please. Next item is the roll call. If the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Kozak.
Here.
Trustee Clare.
Present.
Trustee Sullivan.
Present.
Trustee Dunham.
Here.
Trustee Madej.
Present.
Trustee Bishke.
Present.
President Daly.
Present. All present and accounted for. I would like to ask Trustee Frank Kozak to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Next item is the approval of minutes from May 11th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 21st, or May 11th, 2021. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Next item is the minutes from the May 11th, 2021 executive session. Any questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. The next item is the approval of expenditures for the amount of $3,149,097.66. Any
Move to
questions,
approve
comments?
expenditures as presented.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Kozak, seconded by,
Mark.
give it to Trustee Sullivan.
No, it was me. Madej.
Trustee Madej, okay, Trustee Madej. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Thank you. Liquor license requests, we have none this evening. Consent agenda. The consent agenda will be read in its entirety, voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss an item further, please indicate that item when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on the consent agenda and voted on to approve as one motion again. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Number 1, proclamations. Bike Month in Schaumburg, June 2021. 2, Finance, Legal, Administrative, and General Government. Approve the Finance Department monthly report for April 2021. B, the motion will be to approve membership in the Northwest Municipal Conference and that membership dues in the amount of $25,528 be paid. C, the motion would be to approve membership in the Illinois State Chamber of Commerce and that membership dues in the amount of $1,150 be paid. D, the motion would be to enter into a contract with Belo and Company of Dallas, Texas for continued advertising, media planning, and media buying services in the amount not to exceed $126,000. E, the motion would be to approve an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.14, retail sale of alcoholic beverages. F, the motion would be to approve a contract with Rockland Irving of Morton Grove, Illinois, in the amount of $100,000 for the continued marketing of 90 North. G, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute the TIF term sheet between the Village of Schaumburg and Experior Group, LLC, and approve the required resolution. H, the motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing a Class 6B tax incentive for Tala Trans Worldwide Corporation located at 1115 Morse Avenue. I, the motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing a 6B classification for Key Tower LLC located at 1475 Rodenberg Road. 3, Committee of the Whole. The motion would be to approve changes to Old Schaumburg Center District boundary and reorganization of duties for the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals, and direct staff to draft the necessary code changes for review by the Zoning Board of Appeals and Plan Commission. 4, Public Safety Committee. The motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing the village manager to change the address of 133 East Schaumburg Road, Schaumburg, Illinois, to 132 Waterbury Circle, Schaumburg, Illinois. B, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 31, Section 31.029B of the Schaumburg Village Code relative to the composition and terms of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. 5, Planning, Building, and Development Committee. A, the motion would be to authorize the expenditure of funds for village services associated with the Timbercrest Woods Neighborhood Garage Sale to be held June 4th to 6th, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6, Plan Commission. The motion would be to approve a tear-down and replacement plan and variation to decrease the minimum lot area for 1120 Patricia Court. 7, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as resolution number R21-032, authorizing change address of 133 East Schaumburg Road, Schaumburg, Illinois, to 132 Waterbury Circle, Schaumburg, Illinois. B, the motion would be to adopt as R21-033, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute a term sheet between the Village of Schaumburg and Experior Group, LLC. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R21-034, approving and authorizing a 6B classification for 1115 Morse Avenue, Schaumburg, Illinois, Tala Trans Worldwide Corporation. D, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R21-035, approving and authorizing 6B classification for 1475 Rodenburg Road, Schaumburg, Illinois, Key Tower, LLC. 8, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 21-061, granting a tear-down and replacement plan and variation to decrease the minimum lot area 1120 Patricia Court. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 21-062, amending Title III, Chapter 31, Section 31.029B of the Schaumburg Village Code relative to the composition and terms of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 21-063, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.14 of the Village Code relative to the retail sale of alcoholic beverages. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you. Look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishki.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. The items are approved. Committee reports. There is nothing listed. Nothing to come before us this evening. No. Comments from the audience. At this time, we're going to open it up to comments from the audience. Anyone? We'll start with people in attendance. I don't think there's anyone here in attendance to speak. Then we will open it to anyone on the Zoom. If they wish to speak, please unmute yourself and let us know what we need your name, address for the record, and then what you want to talk about.
Hi, may I go first?
Sure, by all means. Give us your name and address for the record and hold forth.
Thank you. My name is Efrain Rana. Do you need me to spell that for you?
Please.
I think we've got that,
Do we
but
have it?
thank you.
We got it?
My
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
my address is 1221 Cambia Drive, apartment 1101, Schaumburg 60193. And what I'd like to bring to you all forward is the ordinance for turning on the AC in Schaumburg. Right now, I live in Legend Park Apartments, and they always quote that June 1st is when they're obligated to turn the AC on. But the 6 years that I have lived here, and probably due to global warming, there have been more and more days prior to June 1st where it is extremely hot. And as you all know right now, this is, I think, the 6th day that we're experiencing 80 plus degrees of temperature. And inside a large apartment building that I reside in currently, the temperature easily gets up 90 degrees. And then if we try to cook or do any sort of physical activity, it'll get 90 degrees plus. So I would like to know, what can we do to get this this rule changed so that we can move up the date, or maybe do it on a temperature base, like if it's going to be, a certain degree of temperature for this many days, that the apartments have to turn the AC on.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to bear with us one second?
Sure.
So, Ms. Zana sent an email to the village earlier today describing this concern, and I passed it on to Julie Fitzgerald in Community Development, and she can address what the current code provisions are and then what some potential opportunities might be to help address this.
Okay.
Sure. So, so the village ordinance requires heat, but we do not have a requirement for air conditioning. This comes up on a certain number of properties, kind of each year, sort of weather dependent. We adopt the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires heat to be maintained. Well, two things. So in regards to air conditioning, it doesn't require it, but if they have it, then the unit or whatever mechanism is provided, it has to operate and function properly. In terms of heat, the village adopts the ICC Property Maintenance Code, and the section of the code related to heat gives each jurisdiction adopting it the opportunity to set the dates that heat is required to be provided above a certain temperature, and actually the temperature we can opt to select as well. And so Schaumburg, for many years prior to adoption of the ICC codes, has required heat to be available from September 15th to June 1st. So the issue with, as I understand it, Legend Apartments falls into this category, and there are some other large apartment complexes that fall into this category, is that it's basically either heat or air conditioning based on the design of the system. And so once they turn off they can't turn on the air until they sort of abandon properly for the year the air conditioning, turn the boilers off, and make it, for the heat, make it so that they're not going to have heat. And so, for example, we had an awfully hot weekend. I'm sure it was miserable without air conditioning last weekend. However, this Friday, I think it's supposed to be 50 with low in the 40s. And so you could have a situation where you could have an apartment complex that wouldn't be able to provide heat to the residents. So in terms of solutions moving forward, staff was thinking we would poll some other municipalities and see if they use different dates, or if they have seen a trend towards a request for different dates, and that's something that could be considered. The mechanism for putting that in place would be a local amendment to the ICC Property Maintenance Code.
So it would be not unreasonable then to refer this matter to maybe Planning, Building, and Development, so you can investigate it further, and then the board can weigh in and have some conversation at that point in time.
We could do some investigation and then
Okay.
bring a report and the survey
So
results back to committee.
It's not going to provide an immediate solution or answer, but it certainly would address going forward the dates and time, dates in which for turning the heat on, and potentially even turning air conditioning on if they have it. So I think would be reasonable. But questions from the board?
Yes. I have a
Yeah,
quick
trustee
one.
Sullivan.
This is a centralized units for heat and air conditioning. It's a one-unit thing. They don't have individual air conditioners in each apartment.
It's my understanding they don't. I don't have the full details of the design of the system, but I did talk to our public health official today, and he said it is one of the systems where it's either heat or air conditioning.
Yeah, and that's kind of information I'd like at PBD too, how many complexes we have and that, so we can take a really good look and know what we're looking at.
Sure, we can take a poll of basically how heat and AC is providing at
Because so many
the
have the
various
single
complexes.
the air conditioning units in the wall and that for their tenants. So I want to make, know what we're dealing with. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Other questions, comments from the board? So, the idea here is to refer this matter to Planning, Building, Development. So, I'm sorry, what was her last name? Was Rana?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So what we're going to do is, you brought up a good point that needs further discussion than the time we have here at a board meeting. So we have a separate committee that can discuss these kind of items. It's called the Planning, Building, Development Committee. And the next meeting will be...
The next meeting is actually next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So I'm thinking maybe this would be
Well, at least-
July, unless you think
Yeah,
there's
we'll
some
we'll probably at least
urgency.
have at least a status there so you can get an idea of what approach the village is taking, but it's probably one that will take more than a week to investigate, find out what other apartment complexes are doing, and maybe even what other municipalities are doing, and then have further discussion. So unfortunately, we won't be able to help you out right today, but we will at least be able to take a look at this and determine maybe it requires a date change, maybe it requires something else. So, but you're welcome to attend that meeting. It's next Thursday, which would be
June 3rd.
June 3rd, okay, at 7 p.m. Are you doing Zoom? I don't remember.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In person or
So
Zoom.
you can attend on Zoom, or you can attend here in person if you wish in Village Hall, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice, okay, we're going to move on to council's report.
I would ask for a motion to approve the extension of the mayoral proclamation declaring a local state of emergency in its current form as originally made on March 20th, 2020, till the adjournment of the next regular meeting of the Village Board of Trustees.
Move to accept the proclamation as stated.
Second.
Motion and a second, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Vishki.
Aye.
Okay, and staff is going to take a look at that, and see whether or not we need to continue or whatever.
I think this will be the last time we'll ask the board to reauthorize this given the current system.
Okay,
And that is all I have, other than that we will have need for a closed session, but we will not be coming out afterwards.
okay,
Take
we'll
action.
cover that at the end. President's report, I just have one item, and I just want to say it's already been mentioned, it's already been talked about at Engineering and Public Works, but to commend staff for the snow and ice removal that occurred this past winter. We did have snowfall of 30 inches, 30 plus inches, and with the high one being, I guess, on January 30th at 5.4 inches. Sure seemed like we had some more than that, but at any rate, did a good job, and certainly appreciate all the work that that is done by staff, whether they're actually doing it or they're working with an outside contractor to make sure all our streets and cul-de-sacs are all taken care of. So thank you very much. That's all I have. Manager's report.
I have no report this evening.
Any new business? Unfinished business? Trustee comments and mentions? Done this evening, okay. Baseball opening day, as Al used to like to talk about, is, for Boomers anyways, is Thursday. So get your tickets if you're still interested, okay? And then we have an adjournment to executive session. There's 3 items. The first one is in accordance with Section 2, subsection C2 of the Open Meetings Act, collective bargaining, collective negotiating matters between the public body, its employees, or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. The second item is in accordance with Section 2, subsection C6 of the Open Meetings Act, sale or lease of village property, the setting of price for sale or lease of property owned by the village or by the public body. Item 3, in accordance with Section 2, subsection C1 of the Open Meetings Act, personnel, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity. Those 3 items are to be discussed in executive session with no return to open session afterwards. Look for a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn into executive session. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham. Oops. Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Vishki.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham stepped out for a minute.
5 ayes and 1
Absent.
abstention.
MIA.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. We are done.